Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to change the rear brakes. Here, let's do it this way better. On a V-Star Classic 1100, and this is basically what you're going to need. Obviously brakes. You won't need these if you're using the Allen. This is for the exhaust. If you have aftermarket pipes, you'll need whatever size bit to take them off. And then this is to take the actual brakes off. This is to take the pins off, which you'll see in a minute. This is to pop the cap off, and then this 8mm is not necessary, but it makes it much easier. And then this is a tool for pushing the caliper back, which you don't need one of those either. You can use a big screwdriver or put a pair of pliers in there and turn them sideways, which I'll explain in a minute. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is, obviously there's a screw right there, take it out. If you still have the stock pipes, there's a screw right there, take it out. You're going to loosen right here, and there's a clamp right there you're also going to loosen, which I already previously did that because it's kind of hard to record and do it, with one hand. So I already did that. So let's pull those off. And then next, that's where the 10mm comes in handy. It's for this bolt here. You can take that off, and it makes it where you can take the whole caliper out and actually maneuver it around a little bit better. So we'll take that out, get that out of the way. Next, you're going to take these bolts out, obviously. That's what you're working on. These two here. Get those out of the way. Now, sometimes when you try pulling this off, it gets stuck. I like to put a screwdriver in there and kind of, push it off. This one's, I already took it off, so it's pretty easy for it to come off. Then you're going to pull it out, and then if you have one of these tools, caliper, that's where it would come in handy. You put it in here, and then you screw this thing, and it pushes that out. But this is where you can, if you have a really fat screwdriver, you can stick it in there, or if you have a pair of pliers, put them in there, and you can turn them sideways, and it'll push the caliper back. This is really easy to calibrate to push back. It's not like a car one, and you can see the brakes are pretty low there. Getting close. So after you push that back, next you're gonna get the screwdriver, and there's a cap right here. See if I can do it with one hand. You're gonna pop that off, and then inside here there's two little pins. That's where your pliers are gonna come in, or maybe a pick. See, there's a hook right, or there's a cotter pin right here, and there's another one right there. Sometimes you might have to rotate them. You can see on this side, you can rotate it, the pin on this side, and then rotate the clip up. So, and then this pin, after you pop that clamp out, sorry, a little over crooked, you can just pop this pin out. Careful, that spring might go flying. And try to keep this, I don't think it really matters, but I always try to keep this, the way I take it out, because this side is a little bit more up than that side. I don't really think it matters, but I don't know. I always like to put it back in the way it came out. And next you're going to take this other pin out, obviously. Same thing, just pop that out. And then there's your brakes. These get pretty toast. These were EBC, not the double H, just the regular. They were the FA88, but not the HH. I guess these ones are supposed to be better, so we'll see how much longer they last. And then to put them in, it's the same thing. I don't put any grease on these. I've changed them several times, and they don't squeak or anything, and I don't have any binding issues, so I wouldn't recommend putting any grease on them. I always just throw them right in. Now this part I probably won't be able to record because it's too hard to to show you with one hand, but I'll start the video after I get them in there. So you're just gonna put that back on there, and then I like to grab the pin, the cotter pin here with pliers. It makes it easier. And then you're just gonna put it in that hole. There's a hole, obviously the hole you took them out of. You're gonna pop it in there, make sure they're in, and then this is where it gets kind of tricky, because the part that you took out here, you're gonna have to hook that under. Oops, hook it under, and then you're gonna have to put this in. Push down on this thing here. Yeah. This. You're gonna have to push down on this and put the pin through at the same time. So obviously I can't do that with one hand. I'm gonna show you when I'm finished. So once you get that through, same thing. You're just gonna pop the pin in there. Make sure that pin's in there good. That pin's in there good. And you're gonna take the cap back on and put that back on. It actually says on here. You can probably read it. You'll read it on yours. Or pad service. I want you to remove that. So I'm gonna use both hands to put that on. Oh, maybe I can get it. Oh, sweet! I got it with one hand. Awesome. So you can see the brake pads. They're in there. Spread them apart here. Now the challenging part is putting this back on the disc, because sometimes it's hard to keep these apart. And we'll see if we can do it though. With one hand, I probably can't, but I'll try. Oh, I got it! No way! Awesome. So this part's gonna be a little tricky with one hand. Well, I don't think you need to see me screw it back on, but basically you just do the opposite of what you did to take it off. So after you get the bolt in, you're gonna put your bolt in here. Don't forget it, because yeah, this is gonna be rubbing on the tire, and that would be really bad if you do that. So get that on, and then you're gonna put the pipes on, and then before you ride it, you're gonna have to make sure you pump the brake really slowly, because it's going to take a second for it to pump up. So just pump it really slowly, like that. Just keep pumping it really slowly, and then it's going to get to a point where it's rock hard. And then when you break it in, it's just like a car. Obviously you don't want to slam your brakes on the first time you use them. One thing I forgot to mention, the reservoir right there, if you add fluid when the brakes were low, you should take it off, because it's going to overflow. In this case, I never add fluid, so it just goes up, and then when it goes back down, and then I compress it, it goes back up. So I don't mess with the fluid at all, and I don't have to take the cap off or none of that. So just push this, get it pumped up, and then put your exhaust on, and you're good to go.